As you can see right here is just front bumper to back bumper, and that's what got this thing going. 25, Jerry Nadeau backwards, gets tagged by the 14 of Rick Mast, and then a whole bunch of other people get involved. Earnhardt Jr. up there in that red number 8 Budweiser car, the hood's smoking, radiators pop.
We come off of turn 2 again, right there. See, Ward Burton got pushed around by that car, and that's the 4 car.
And he got in the back of Tony Stewart. Of course, Tony Stewart won airborne here.
And it was Ward Burton's car being sideways that blocked up the track for everybody behind him.
Boy, and it gets hit by every car in the field, seems like, and Tony Stewart's car just took a whale of a ride.
Thing to happen earlier.
Yeah.
Right there on that blind spot. You know, these guys have got that headrest on the right side. You just can't see it hard into the outside wall.
Man, Kenny Schrader just barely squeezed through, and poor old Terry Labonte had nowhere to go.
Trunk lid debris everywhere. The rest of the drivers thread their way by. And then flames.
Just again, that's a gas fire because he was full of fuel. They just had to pit.
So here goes Blaney driving off there.
So Blaney drives away with damage, severe damage to the right.
And everybody starts up the hill. I mean, everybody's loose. There goes Harvick.
Rusty Wallace all but hit the wall.
Rusty was so lucky. Watch Park back here, and if you can.
Right there.
See, he can't get going. He's just spinning the tires and does everything but spin out.
Yeah, we thought he just did. He spun the tires from acceleration, but obviously the race.
Ever see the 14 car, the 25 car? The 14 gets up in the wall, and the 33 car tries to turn under him, and Terry Labonte just clips the 33 car ever so slightly and knocks him up into the 14.
That's the first part of it. Spencer is still to come.
And there we see Spencer. He's gotten in front of the 40 car.
Not for long.
Wow. There were 2 different wrecks going on.
Yep.
2 entire different wrecks.
And remember, Rusty's got fresher tires than the other guys. Ryan Newman passed.
Oh, car in the wall hard.
2 of them. Terry Labonte looked like he drove on. It's the pole sitter, Jake.
Way below it.
But see, what might get him off the hook, he's behind him. Here. He advances his position after Gordon spins. I mean, that might be what they're thinking.
There you go. And there you see the contact.
Way up at the top of the racetrack.
There you see Robbie Gordon.
Whoa.
You see all the water.
Yeah. It's, you know what happened? He was probably coming around there, and they told him to pit, and he tried to turn down into the pit lane and was going too fast.
Now from Kenny Schrader.
Oh.
Well, that's the way that.
If you turn on pit, might as well come in and get him some tires.
The guys were seeing.
Our leader, as the field has been halted at 195 laps for Elliott Sadler's spin at turn 2.
Rusty's right in the middle of the racetrack. Steve Park's going on the outside, but Rusty decides to come up to the outside line, not realizing that Steve was there. They made contact, and the ride is on.
Look at that barrier give. Thank goodness.
But again, that's one reason that Steve was able to walk away arm in arm with Dale Earnhardt Jr. because of that wall that did give.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
And you know, the spotters on the roof here at Pocono are a long way away from where Rusty Wallace and flag was.
Oh, off the ground.
No brakes at all coming in there.
Man.
Still nicer to hit it in those.
This is what we have of the accident. That was part 1. Then behind them, the other 2 crash.
Wow. Long way behind them.
Maybe that's what they're talking about when Sterling was backing off.
I feel like Benson would have got away with it at
If Jeremy was there. Wrong place, wrong time for Jeremy and Ricky.
Well, let's try. Surely one of these cars has an onboard.
I think Tony Stewart didn't get into him. I think he just was trying to stay off of Mark Martin, and the car just jumped out from under him.
And we've seen that several times tonight, guys, where a car on the outside coming off the corner makes your car loose, pulls the back around.
Larry, he went in on the apron. He went into turn 3.
That's why he's doing what he's doing. He's just mirror driving all over the racetrack.
Oh, trouble. Elliott Sadler over 1.5 and on his roof. Now the car tumbling hard onto the pavement in turn 3. Caution is out. A terrible crash.
A little bit loose there. Wow, what a shot.
Yeah. He hit right at that gate. Right at the gate, the crossover gate there.
And look at all that debris flying around. Everybody should stop and change tires.
Yeah,
because they might have a flat.
Why not? What they do.
Looked like Dale kind of got loose and swerved into him.
Yeah, I mean, Wimmer never really moved up off the bottom of the racetrack.
Dale got loose off of 4 there and then slammed into Wimmer.
All came apart all right. Watch 77 Brendan Gaughan get Spencer, who got Rudd, who then got hit by Sauter. Earnhardt turned around, hit Burton. Got all that?
Yeah, and there goes Morgan Shepherd sliding down through there.
Yeah, I mean, when you got 12.5 rows
41 comes back and gets... You know, I had this feeling about tonight. I could just feel it in the air.
Watch this right here, guys, right there just past the start-finish line. This is happening at over 180, almost 190 miles per hour.
Now, listen, that was totally uncalled for, and you can say, well, I was bump drafting, but you don't bump draft at Charlotte Motor Speedway going down into turn 1.
Schrader involved.
Mayfield.
Oh, trouble at Blaney. Michael Waltrip and Blaney got together. There goes Blaney into the wall.
There goes everybody.
Yeah, Ryan Newman's in it. Greg Biffle.
48 car. Right there, she takes off. Not too far behind him comes a whole bunch more. I think Mark and Tony may have seen what happened to him and got it to the inside.
This will show it right here, Darrell.
Martin and Stewart were just that little bit lower on the racetrack from Kane, and they got through.
Just a little wee bit.
And all that rubber, you lose control. I mean, the cars start to slide, and you'll see it'll turn a little bit more to the left to try to get inside the cones, and that's it. It'll snap around on you so fast, and there's nothing you can do because it's very slippery down there.
At the very top of the show today, we showed you Tony Stewart doing the same thing. Robbie Gordon in 31.
And he's pushing. He pushed. He slid up the racetrack. He pushed into Robbie, and there we were just talking about it. You get one shot at saving these race cars. So, wow.
Oh, man. West Wing all over again.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, that was a shot. But that's what happened. He just lost a nose, and this is...
Yep. Matt, he did have a left rear going down.
Remember, these cars do not run inner liners as Robbie Gordon blows up as well. These cars do not run inner liners here at Phoenix. And when he entered turn 1, it was on the rim.
I told Jimmy that I had a flat. He didn't want to believe it. You know, we just haven't had our luck this year. Every time we've been up front, you know, it's just something like that's happened. And I said, you know what, screw it. We're going to go out there, and if I can bring this thing home, a top 5, top 10.
Bonnie's not even in the top 35 right now.
Casey Mears that got loose first.
I think those get really started a little further up with those guys reacting to what they saw.
For Bobby Labonte, though, who has won here 6 times, and that Joe Gibbs number 18, it is a second straight week of frustration. Scott Riggs may have got in the back of.
He got into the back of Casey Kane and turned him right there, and here they go. But again, I believe Casey may have lifted because of what happened in front of him. Jeff Gordon doesn't make really hard. Clean. Ooh. Couldn't tell. Did the 32 get in the back of him?
I think so.
That's what it looked like.
Rusty sneaks through with minimal damage. So does Jeff Gordon. Michael Waltrip got hit.
Kurt Busch has got damage, but not a lot, I don't think.
Mike Wallace.
Time we had everybody. Whoa, I've got trouble right there. Mike Wallace is around right there. Matt Kins is also.
And this will take some people out of the race, no doubt, Mike. And Jeff, that was right at the same point in the pack. Scott Riggs got turned up to the high side. And look how many cars pile in.
I'm seeing.
That was the first sign right there.
Had Mike Wallace, Casey Mears, Rusty Wallace.
Back in here. Yikes.
Joe Nemechek in the 01 car.
Was it from contact from Stewart?
Somebody got into the back of somebody. We got to look at it again. Somebody poked somebody coming out of 4.
You see the car wobble? Around she goes. And Jimmy Johnson almost T-boned him as Nemechek inside, Nemechek on the outside. Slides up the racetrack, and I think he just may have got into Nemechek just a little bit.
Down the back stretch.
And boy, if you know a tire's going down and you're at the front of the pack, not a whole lot you can.
Through all this, Eric triggered a little deal behind them where Dave Blaney got spun around by Clint Boyer, David Stremme, Brian Vickers all involved. And oh, by the way, here comes the 50.
Gosh, he's sideways on the straightaway.
Yeah, something big
broke.
Time. You could, yeah, there's something big time in trouble.
I bet it broke an axle or something, because it turned sideways like that.
Way back on the straightaway.
Something definitely.
The good news is.
There's no words. You don't have to explain that one. That's one of those things that you cannot do on a super speedway. Run these speeds. It's a form of, or kind of like. Well, the only excuse I could make there is Biffle was down and he moved up in front of him, and Kurt
pulls into a stop. Let's see how this got started.
Oh, well, we heard on the radio somebody saying, I'm not sure who it was, that Kyle got into the back of Michael. And he gets into Mark, and you see him, he gets loose right there, and here he comes into Mark, and they both go in the wall, and
nowhere for Mark to go, and they start stacking up behind him. You see Biffle and Kyle Busch getting together. There you see McMurray and Mayfield.
Tony had it missed and got tagged. He got hit from behind by Jeremy Mayfield, and he got hit really hard.
Out from under this car as it hits.
Just can't believe the side of that car.
And now,
see Kenny go around in the 21 car. Now here's where it gets ugly. He backs right out in front of
nowhere for Sterling to go, nowhere for Hubert to go.
Look at Boyer, sneaks right through there.
Dale Jr. gets in the back of J.J. Yaley. Kyle Petty just rams into the back of Joe Nemechek,
and they just start stacking in after that.
Remember too, Darrell, you're cut that the elevation change
took off. Yeah, they did. They had a great, both those front two cars had a great restart.
Well, you know, Jimmy watched the race yesterday, so he was thinking about those restarts with Matt and Harvick.
Still really can't tell. That happened early, too, like before the corner. That happened on the straightaway, didn't it?
Racing quarters tight. Yeah, you see McMurray get around there with Matt Kenseth right behind him, Jamie in the 26. Smoke, and you can't really see a lot with the smoke. Car starts swerving. Oh, Rudd got hit from behind. It looked like maybe Dale Jr. lifted him up.
Even though are Rudeman and
ooh, somebody got into him.
Let's see who.
Look at the parts and pieces flying off of that thing.
Let's ride along.
Looking inside.
Oh,
big crash.
Your body stings. I tell you, you can't believe how that.
With 18 laps to go.
Take a look at Martin Truex. Gets in the back of Juan, gets them all sideways, gets them sliding. Rear gets on it, gets into Harvick. Montoya didn't do that on purpose for sure.
And that's what I was talking about. Harvick didn't realize all this had happened. All he knows is he got.
Coming out of turn 4, and you're going to see this thing all start about the 12 car spins. And they'll all jam up behind him. There's the 12 car with Kenseth right behind him, and now no one can see a thing.
Kevin Harvick makes a good move down through the grass, doesn't get any damage. He gets through it, Harvick gets right through it, no problem whatsoever.
At least 4 cars damaged in this incident.
Another one of those chain reaction crashes. Yeah, they just stack up. When somebody has a problem up front, you got all these cars running so fast and so close.
Try to make it 3 wide down through here. Elliott Sadler gets out of the throttle, gives Kenny Wallace a break, and when he does that, it stacks up behind him, and boy, all heck breaks loose. And the 22 into the side of Jamie McMurray, he loses his front end.
So let's show you what happened here a moment ago. Now watch the 2-car left side of your screen up off the wall.
Looks like he had a flat tire or something. He had something broke or a flat tire.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the tire was flat in or if he just got up so high out of the groove and the car wouldn't turn and got up in it again. I mean, only Kurt would know. But, boy, when he hit that wall, bounced across, it just really took out everybody.
First, Kurt, you okay? That looked like a hard hit. Are you okay?
Yeah, everything's good. I don't know what happened to it. Something broke on the car, and whether it was suspension or the tire.
It's in progress. He's already spinning, and watch him come down across the racetrack.
Well, it looks like he just lost it all by himself. There's nobody in front of him, nobody behind him. Just a classic case of turn 4 eating up another car. But Johnny didn't tear the car.
There.
He just got behind on the steering after having some contact with that Red Bull car. Just
like
catch the number. And, man, that's a hard lick right there for Mark Martin.
Here's the impact as Martin came across the racetrack. Watch the 38 come right down in front of him.
When Mark catches that right at the last minute, nothing Mark Martin could do. He was committed to the bottom of the track. And, guys, when you're running that fast, you just can't turn it right and jump under.
Going to stay out.
Pontier, he's just there. You saw the right front go. I mean, I think that's why he was hitting the wall, pushing up off of 2 over there. That right front was worn out and finally just blew on him. I'll tell you one thing. These restarts
comes down right.
Just clipped Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Got turned him around. But now this is when it really is bizarre. Watch this.
Hornish already had damage, and the hood was up so high he couldn't see out of the windshield, I don't think.
Now watch Junior in the 88 come into this, get clipped, knocking the right side sheet metal off and banging the left side. Now
I think Jeff just shoves up right there, gets into him ever so slightly. And look at Greg Biffle slide by, but that inside lick on the inside wall is what tore Jeff's car all to pieces.
They're going to stop the field in turn 1 so they can clean up turn 2. Here's another look. And you're right, Darrell. Jeff's car just pushes up, won't hold the bottom of the racetrack.
Couldn't hold it down. And this thing goes in here, and it hits an opening. That's why it knocked. That's what happened.
Oh, my God.
It hit that opening, and it just ripped the front end off of it.
There's no safer barrier there.
No.
You'll see the 5 come down through the grass here, perhaps.
Burton is the lucky one. I mean, he's a.
Carl Edwards scoots through on the bottom. And here's what just happened to Newman coming onto pit road.
Yeah, there's fire up. I can see fire. It's been smoldering under there for about a lap. My goodness. Obviously, there's fluid still coming out somewhere.
That was a hard lick on that inside wall by that 10 car.
Now Patrick Carpentier has climbed out of his car. He's okay.
Look at that. They just keep pounding. At 17, he's torn up big time. Kurt Busch. See the 19 go up the hill. Here comes Tony, and he says, "Oh man, please go down. Please go down."
Boy, look at Casey Kane in that 9. He actually got some damage on the rear.
The 15's the one that done a whale of a job.
Darrell, we've always said this is a self-cleaning racetrack, and I think most drivers coming through turn 2 expected Sadler and everyone else to just slide to the bottom, and they did.
Restart. Juan Pablo Montoya running second. Marcus Ambrose in the 21 car gets into him, going down to turn 11, and Montoya.
Then Michael McDowell gets into the back of Gilliland, getting into the corner here. Oh my goodness. It's the hard line.
Right across in front of Labonte, who backs that car into the guardrail. There comes the 77 of Hornish. He was involved. See, Ryan Newman just stopped in the 12 car. Finish line.
contact. There's Mears.
Like Michael Waltrip was involved. 07 and Clint Boyer also involved. Cow, what a wreck.
Reed Sorensen able to get stopped there somehow. Trying to avoid it.
Again, these guys using all this, and the 45 car just got loose down on the apron.
I don't know how you run 5 wide off that corner anyway.
Well, you don't, obviously. Not successfully anyway.
Look at the 11 and 20 just getting by. Hamlin and Stewart
almost snuck through there.
Oh, man, that's a hard lick. Matt Kenseth took a hard lick into the outside wall and then got hit as he came.
Well, he just gets misses the 31. 9 cars involved into the 38.
Look at Bobby Labonte. He's fishing his way through that. I'm telling you, he missed 2 or 3 guys by inches. Then you see Martin Truex had a hard lick on that inside wall.
How did the 31 not get hit here? Watch the car come across right to Burton, right there.
Oh, that was close.
Well, didn't we say in the start of this you had to be lucky? So that's one of those times it was lucky. You see Terry Labonte spinning down through there in the 45 car. Up on the high side, making a real run. You see Blaney gets turned a little bit there, but that was okay. That looked like that could be big. But the trouble's going to start right up here in the front whenever, looks like maybe the 99 gets into the back of the 16. That's all 3 Roush cars that it takes out right there. And Dale Jr.
Look at Jimmy Johnson just squeezed by this. There's still some wrecking ahead of even of Jimmy Johnson yet.
We talk about bump drafting. It's hard to see from that angle we were right there, but bump.
5 car of Mears.
Wow.
Just hard racing through that dog leg.
Yeah, Casey Mears' great day went south in a hurry.
And all these other guys see are getting involved here. Oh, Marcus Ambrose having a good run there. Looks like he got a piece of that.
Yep.
Got into the back of Riggs. 0-1 able to get through. And then there's the contact with the 84, the 70, 38, 77 up against the wall.
To the right. And they, you know, whether Martin came over or whatever, there just wasn't enough room. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just, everybody going for the same spot.
And you know, when the 88 spun his tires, he goes to the inside. So now all of a sudden it looks to.
Here's Sam Hornish racing with Casey Kane as they come out of the corner. Oh,
looks like Casey got loose and tried to correct it. Got into Sam, and goodness gracious, what
just as we saw the other day. Wow, huge lick by Jeff Gordon. It's good to see him get out of his car.
And Sam Hornish. Both of those cars hit extremely hard on that second impact.
Gordon head on into the Armco barrier.
We saw this happen with Jason Leffler's car the other day, get thrown back, and Jeff Gordon wide open, nowhere to go. Time as you see Michael Waltrip kind of squeezes Martin Truex and then gets into the right rear of the car that he owns of David Rudiman. And then I think Michael might have a tire go down right here. Yeah, just swaps ends, gets into the wall. Then Clint Boyer gets turned around by Joey Logano and backs into Michael Waltrip.
Really just kind of a stack-up effect. Like was one of them got on the brakes and it's kind of forced. Yeah, look at Tony Stewart just missing this crash. Man, here's where it really gets exciting. Man.
We talked about that there's nowhere to go as you come off of these corners, and when something like this happens, you make a commitment, and you've got one opportunity really to miss this wreck. Tony Stewart did a great job. At least 4 wide here, but it looks like
first contact looked to me like it was Elliott Sadler into the back of Junior.
Yes, I was going to say that's what triggered everything, but they were only asking for trouble at 4 wide. We've talked about how wide a racetrack this is, but
down on the hood of the 29 car of Kevin Harvick. Now watch it as it happened in real time.